From 5 News, I'm meteorologist Stephen Elmore. This is your 5+ extended forecast. Happy New Year's Eve. Here's a look at the rest of the night tonight. You got those plans to celebrate welcoming in the new year. Really not too bad, pretty average for this evening. And hang on to some cloud coverage over the next several hours. Going to get towards midnight, going into the new year, temperatures dropping right at the freezing point across northwest Arkansas. Waking up tomorrow morning for the first morning of 2025, starting off below freezing. Across the river valley, temperatures this evening not too bad. You're getting out to celebrate. Going to slowly start to lose that cloud coverage as we go on throughout the rest of this evening. By the time we get to midnight, temperatures staying into those upper 30s. Clear skies this evening. Just going to be chilly waking up for the first day of January. Take a look at what it's going to feel like for tomorrow morning. Get some cooler air starting to work its way in. We'll feel like we're into close to the upper 20s, below the freezing point across northwest Arkansas. Upper 20s, low 30s across the river valley to start off tomorrow morning. Again, really chilly start and really chilly starts over the next several days should be expected at this point, really throughout the rest of this week and going through the weekend. More than likely, temperatures starting off below the freezing point, but we do work in some sunshine over the next several days. Starting for tomorrow, even though it's going to be a chilly start to 2025, temperatures eventually will warm up to those mid to upper 40s. Lots of sunshine breaking out, especially once we get into the afternoon. Across the river valley for the first day of January, temperatures will warm up into those upper 40s and low 50s. But again, those morning hours, even though the temperature will be right around the freezing point, I think wind chill values force that a couple degrees cooler just below the freezing point as you head out the door for tomorrow morning. Take a look at these mornings over the next several days. Really should be expected almost throughout the entire 7-day forecast. Temperatures really cold outside, talking about anywhere between those mid to upper 20s across northwest Arkansas, maybe some low 30s out there. But really what the forecast is going to be generated around, the next big thing to look out for is going to be what happens going into Sunday and then there afterwards, as we're expecting what we call an Arctic blast, a cold blast of air coming in across most of the United States, and also welcome in our first chance for some winter precipitation going into the new year. Across the river valley, here's what to look out for the rest of this work week. Going into the first week of 2025, temperatures going to start off close to, if not just a few degrees cooler than the freezing point. Sunday is going to be the big day that we look out for the chances for maybe some winter precipitation, but then the cooler air afterwards. Starting off that second week of January, temperature is going to be much cooler outside. We're talking about starting off into the teens and 20s. So let's talk about what to expect going into Sunday. This upcoming weekend is what we have highlighted right now as the chances of our first round of some winter precipitation across the region, specifically going in through most of the day on Sunday. Saturday, I think the trends are moving away from the start of the weekend to more just towards the end of the weekend. We'll see how that shapes up as we get a little bit closer. Here's the headlines, though, of what you need to know as we stand right now ahead of that system several days away. The first thing to know is that multiple things are going to change over the next several days. This is a constantly changing forecast, especially when it gets to winter weather. That's almost the hardest season to exactly predict what is going to happen when it comes to when, where, and how much. What we know right now is that models, unfortunately, are disagreeing right now. What does that mean? Well, we have American models and European models, and they all show us different things. Those are the two most confidence that we have in those long-term models right now. Unfortunately, like we just mentioned, disagreeing at this point. One is showing the chances that we could have our first chances for some snow across the area, maybe even a few inches of snow at that. The other one is showing that freezing line, otherwise known as where the snow is, where the freezing rain is, and then where just the regular rain is, maybe a little bit towards the north, where most of the snowfall was expected to fall across Missouri, and then we get maybe some rain or freezing rain across northwest Arkansas in the river valley. Again, that's what the other model is showing. So wind disagreement right now, it's kind of just depending on what the next couple of days is going to show us. But what you can guarantee right now is that after that front passes through, whether it brings snow, whether it brings freezing rain or just regular rain, afterwards is going to be our coldest point that we've been at so far this season, where morning temperatures are going to start off into the teens and 20s outside. Let's show you that first model. We take you all the way out to Saturday and Sunday, where we see some rain chances starting to move through, and also we see some of those snow chances as well. Going to go ahead and work that back just a little bit here for you. Again, really targeting Sunday. This is taking us out a little bit too far for my liking. That's going into the end of next week. When we take a look at Sunday, this is just one of the models. We get into Saturday evening, and sure, we could see maybe a few stray showers here and there. But once we get into Sunday morning, that's when we start to see the chances of maybe some freezing rain and rain moving into the area with the far northern side, northern Arkansas, maybe seeing some of those snowflakes. But a majority of this model is going to show you that pink color, which is that freezing rain. That's what this model is trying to hint at, the chances for some freezing rain and then some snow on the back side of things going into Monday morning. When we take a look at what the next model has for us, this is showing us that that freezing line of where maybe the freezing rain and rain is further towards our direction and the snow chances lie further towards the north. This is showing rain showers throughout most of the day on Sunday, and once we get closer towards the afternoon and evening hours, maybe starting to work in some of that freezing rain, maybe some snowflakes. This is the prime model showing us what we would like to see, which is just some very cold rainfall, at worst some freezing rain. The other model, though, is showing us that we could be in store for at least a wintry mix, maybe some snow chances. I know that's a lot to understand right now, and what you really need to understand is that we're still several days out. Once we get a little bit closer, these models do tend to agree with each other, and then we can have a better idea of what to expect going into the weekend. Again, one model showing mainly some freezing rain, maybe some just cold rainfall. The other model showing us maybe we see our first chances of some snowflakes. We take a look at that 10-day forecast. Of course, tomorrow is the beginning of the year. Temperature is going to be on the cooler side in the morning hours, but really the rest of the week is pretty quiet. Chilly in the morning, not too bad in the afternoon with temperatures into the upper 40s and low 50s outside. Where we get to the weekend is Sunday, and that's going to be the big day where we see maybe some of that winter precipitation coming down. Again, those models kind of all over the place right now, but take a look how many days we are away from it. Still got time to work out what those models eventually will show us. What they both agree with, though, is that after that front passes through for the end of the weekend, we're going to be seeing some very cold air going into the rest of the 10-day forecast as morning temperatures pretty much the rest of next week. The second week of January going to be starting off into the teens. Maybe we hit some 20s later on this week with daytime highs only staying around the freezing point. Very cold blast of air expected to come through. Across the River Valley, start of the year, not too bad. First couple days, upper 40s, low 50s, chilly in the morning hours. Sunday is going to be the start of that front coming through. Could bring the chances for really anything right now, and unfortunately we do have to say that and just give caution to what you see online and to the forecast. We're going to be providing updates as much as we can on what we believe the models are currently showing. Right now it's too early to tell of where that freezing line is going to be, of if we get maybe some snow or maybe we get some just freezing rain. That's what's complicated about this forecast, and what you need to unfortunately be patient with us over the next several days as we try to fine-tune and work out what that exact forecast is going to be. But what we do know is after that front, going into the next week, towards the end of this 10-day forecast now, is now going to be some much cooler air, where morning temperatures only hovering around the teens and low 20s with daytime highs, hopefully just reaching above the freezing point. So really, the first half of the week, pretty quiet for the 10-day forecast. The weekend, that's where things get hairy, and then the days afterwards just going to be very, very cold outside. As we have that Arctic blast coming in, bringing in much of that cooler air. We'll be keeping you updated as we get closer towards Sunday. Right now, I'm not confident enough to give you any type of estimation of accumulation when it comes to snow or accumulation when it comes to the ice potential, or even if we have some rainfall. At best, the best case scenario is that freezing line moves way up towards the north and we just have some cold rain. The worst case scenario is that freezing line moves farther down towards the south and we either have some snow or some freezing rain to talk about. Just be prepared for some very cold air going into the rest of the week after that front moves through, because unfortunately, both of those models are agreeing that it's going to be very chilly outside. Sunday, though, will be the day that we have the chances for our first chance for some winter precipitation this winter season. Until then, though, Happy New Year to you. It's going to be very cool outside for the first half of the week. Not too bad, though, comparing to what the first couple of weeks of January look like. From 5 News, I'm meteorologist Stephen Elmore. That's your 5+ extended forecast.